And just like that, the series is level, this test series between England and the West Indies. George, I'm trying to see a little tiny smile for you now that England have fought their way back in this series. 113-run win over the visitors from the Caribbean. George, an amazing performance from England overall. I would say they definitely gave themselves a huge advantage with their total in the first innings. So what impressed you the most about this performance that gave them the win?
Well, the key difference is Ben Stokes, isn't it? Let's be clear. Ben Stokes was the difference between the sides in this match. He scored over 250 runs and he took 3 wickets, but even that doesn't tell you what he did, really. It doesn't show you how versatile he was, batting with great patience and discipline in the first innings, batting with great power and skill in the second innings, making the key breakthroughs in both innings with the ball. He's a phenomenon. He's an absolutely phenomenal cricketer. His versatility is incredible. I would, not saying he's as good as Sir Garfield, but he's of that ilk. And there's no higher praise. So there were other very fine performances. I thought Dominic Sibley has had a terrific match. That century in the first innings laid the platform, and Stuart Broad's obviously come back with a bang. That spell with the second new ball made the game, revived the game. But it's Ben Stokes. It's about Ben Stokes. He's an incredible cricketer at the peak of his powers.
I mean, of course, I wanted to talk about the changes that both teams can either make in a bit, but let's just stick with Ben Stokes in this one. Is he one that for you, considering it's all down to decide and now all to play for both teams, is he someone that just absolutely has to play for England in this third test, even though he definitely, probably more than anyone, does deserve a bit of a rest?
Can you imagine trying to leave him out? Be terrified. Look, he went off he stopped bowling midway through an over there, and it looked as if he had a sore knee or something. So who knows what the problem was? He went off yesterday, and we were all worried about some sort of injury, and it turned out it was a how do I put it? A digestive problem. Should I put it like that? And who knows what this is? But you would think even if he can't play as a bowler, he's England's best batsman, isn't he? So I'm pretty confident he would want to play. But you're right, he has to be looked after just like everybody else. But, they will be able to freshen the team up. And I would expect Archer and Anderson to come back, and possibly Wood too. So, England can protect him a little bit, and that's a good thing because, he's a very precious asset for them. Without Stokes, they are very much among the also-rans probably as a team. But he's a very special cricketer, and he lifts the people he plays with as well.
He's an absolutely special cricketer. In terms of the West Indies, they definitely needed something special in this one. If they were to be fair, even force a draw the way things were going when they dropped some early wickets in this one. But overall, the theme that we got from all our discussions was the fatigue was definitely evident for the West Indies. Would you say that was their biggest and toughest opposition in this test from the start?
It's a really good point, and it's slightly hard to know how much of an impact that had when they batted in particular. I think it's underrated for those of us who watch a lot of cricket, like sitting on a comfortable chair, or, if you watch on TV, you don't necessarily realise how brutal it is to be kept in the field for, 160 odd overs, something like that in the first innings. That's tough. It's tough physically, it's tough mentally, it's dispiriting. And then it looked as if they'd done the hard work. I mean, they really were an hour away from making the game safe last night. And Stuart Broad with the second new ball bowled beautifully. All I would say in their defence, West Indies' defence, is that the pitch became really quite tricky, particularly against the new ball. I thought 2 or 3 people got deliveries that kept low or jagged really nastily. But at the same time, there were some extraordinary shots. Campbell, in the first over of West Indies' second innings, is he trying to win the game? Even Holder, I'd have to say. Did he hit a 6 the ball before he was out? Well, they're blocking for a draw, right? And he hits a 6, and then he's out. Now, I know it's a good ball, but if you don't want to be beaten through the gate by an off-break, bowling out of the rough, you don't leave a gate. You defend, you prod forward with the pad and back close together. And he didn't. So I do think they'll be quite frustrated. I really do, because you work so hard to win a test match. And then you work so hard to stay in a test match. And then I wouldn't say they're giving it away at all. That would be unfair on both sides. But there will be an element where they've played some big shots at times when, maybe it would have been sensible to just play for the draw. And a draw would have been a very credible result, I think. So, but there we are. The series is alive. They can win the third test. Lots to play for. And that's the other thing. Hey, it's been fantastic. Almost every session of this series has been an advert for Test cricket. Brilliant. Brilliant game, eh?
Brilliant game, brilliant 2 weeks that we've been watching Test cricket. Again, sticking with the West Indies on this one, we spoke about how the fatigue was very, very obvious in a lot of the players, no more than in Shannon Gabriel, which from day one we saw it. Now that this is a decider, though, and we've seen how brutal Shannon Gabriel can be on his day, can the West Indies afford to give him this break that we know his body's absolutely crying for in this third test?
Again, it's very hard to know without being, party to the medical details and stuff. He looked very stiff and sore. I feel bad for Shannon Gabriel because he's a really good bowler and he gives everything with the ball. And the fielders don't do him justice. They really don't. There was another chance put down off him earlier. At one stage, Joe Root ran a 2 to Gully. I mean, this shouldn't be happening. And I feel bad for him because he's not getting the support of the fielders he should be. He looked utterly exhausted. And even this is the situation for Phil Simmons and Jason Holder to weigh up. It's a big, big game, this next one, for both sides. Of course they want him. Any side with him in it is better. But you've got to look after him because he's a bit precious. I don't know, he looked very, very stiff and sore, didn't he?
He absolutely did. So I suppose based on what we've just been talking about and everything and what we've seen in these last 2 weeks, would you say, I know it's early, but it's still only 3 days away, but would you say it's looking like it could be advantage England in this third test?
No, I think they're two really, really well-matched sides. I've said this for years between these two. Look, I've seen loads of England and West Indies play. The West Indies keep beating England. So I think it's still 4 of the last 7 West Indies have won. Yeah, so no, I think I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.